Looking at the classroom and how technology has evolved, when you look back, we were using abacuses and chalkboards, and now we're using 3D printers, even the smartphone in a student's pocket. When you look at how everything is so fast-paced and changing with technology, it's like taking a drink from a fire hydrant. There's so much out there, and so it really can be a struggle feeling like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do this. Everything's always changing, so I'm never going to be able to learn it all for my students. And so education needs to respond to that.
We're gonna go to the beach and somewhere. Me and my mom going to Phoenix and my uncle.
Today we are going to be working on spelling, and we're going to be using the app called Word Wizard. I first started out with just having technology be a substitution. So instead of using math flashcards, I might give the iPad to the student and they would do, flashcards on the iPad. But I realized that that was not the full potential of technology, and what I really needed to start striving for was a change in ideology and to say, okay, how can I use this tool to really push those students' higher level thinking skills? I had a student who was failing all of his spelling tests because he couldn't form the actual physical letters with a pencil. And so using technology, I had just used a real simple app where he could just swipe up the letters and spell his words, and he was getting hundreds on his spelling test. I saw something amazing happening with him being motivated by a score and being able to touch and manipulate things. And so I really wanted to delve more into how could this assist my students. So I got to work spending my nights and weekends researching how to use technology to engage higher level thinking skills and not just as a substitution. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours trying to figure this out. I even sat at my son's baseball games with, my phone and headphones listening to webinars, but it was also needed so I could understand how to use technology appropriately. I started progressing and processing, okay, so what would I need to actually achieve this? My support structure locally at that time was not very strong, but then I realized as technology progresses and changes, my outreach also did. And so I started using Twitter. At that time, there were about 3,000 educators who were part of this community, and I would just put a question out there, and within about a half hour, somebody out there in the world would have answered my question. I wanted to be able to prevent other teachers from having to spend those, hundreds of hours looking into this. And so I came up with this crazy idea to create a professional development website where teachers can see what it looks like to implement technology successfully into their classrooms. Fast forward a few years, I was teaching in my classroom and I got a phone call. And the phone call was, "Hi, this is the U.S. Department of Education, and we are excited to tell you that we are flying you out to San Francisco to pitch your idea in front of the Helmsley Foundation, the Gates Foundation, and Mark Zuckerberg's, at that time it was the Startup Foundation." And so I pitched my idea and I told them my successes of some of the technology integration. Also, my extreme desire to share what I had already struggled through with educators. And so I was lucky enough to have Mark Zuckerberg's foundation say that they would support me. After finding my fiduciary, I was able to find a creative team and then also gather educators from around Michigan who were already integrating technology, and we started working together to create Innovation Classroom. We created Innovation Classrooms so teachers could learn new techniques quickly and immediately implement them in their classroom. Innovation Classroom is a resource where educators can go to view new techniques to integrate technology successfully in the classroom. It's very user-friendly. When you get onto the site, you are able to search by grade, by teacher, by lesson. It's very time-friendly. The videos in Innovation Classroom are designed to be highly visual representations of what it looks like to integrate technology in the classroom.
And welcome to my third grade classroom at Glengarry Elementary.
Today's lesson, you'll watch a lesson with Elements 4D, in which students will learn how different elements interact.
Thank you for joining me today in my classroom. If you have any comments, please.
What I envision for the future of Innovation Classroom is to be a community of educators around the world who are sharing their ideas, not just content that comes from my team, but that we are able to share ideas to promote student success in the classroom.